Hello children, in this video we're going to start exploring the variables. So the topic would be understanding variables in C. Today we'll be learning what variables are in C programming language and how to use them. So to begin with, a variable is a named storage location in memory. For example, if we can imagine variable as a container, okay, and then a container which can store a value. It can be either integers, a floating, a character. So now the three different types of data types you're going to be exploring are the integers, floating, that is a decimal, and then it would be character. Okay, the floating would be the decimals. So now it holds data that your program can use and change when you execute or run your program. So now to begin with, so to use a variable you must first declare it. So we declare it by saying int, that is stands for integer, and then the variable name. It may be a or num, or it can also be age, and then it ends with a semicolon. So for a floating, we say if it is a decimal variable or a decimal number that you need to store as a variable, you're going to write float, and then you're going to say it can be measurement, or it can be anything. Maybe it can be the cost, bill. Okay, it ends with the semicolons. For the character, it's going to be char, and it can store the grade that you have scored. So these are few of the example of how a variable can be stored. So to use a variable, you must always declare it, like we have declared it here. That means telling the compiler that this is the type of the variable. So it has a type, that is it is an integer, and it has a name, that is it can be num, name, age, or measurement, cost, bill. So this would be the name of the variable. So now here we have integer, which is the age, which means we are declaring the integer variable called age. So we are declaring the integer variable which is an age. We can moving ahead, we can also assign value to the variables that we have declared. For example, we can say int, and then we can say age, which can store the value 10, or it can be float, and we can say bill, and it can store the bill of 700.50. And then going ahead with character, we said grade. So this can store the value a. This is how you can store a value inside a variable which is declared. And remember, integer stands for an integer number, float stands for a decimal number, and character stands for a single alphabet. So this is how you declare a variable here, and this is how you can assign a value to the variable. So let's see how we can use this in a program. So for that, let's move down. So now to begin with, while writing a program, we write hash include .h. Let's just decrease the size. Okay, we have hash include stdio.h, and then we write integer main, which is the main function, and then we're going to add the curly bracket, and then we're going to say int age is equal to 10, and then we're going to say printf I'm going to say age is, I'm going to write %d \n. I'm going to be explaining this in a little while. First, let's write the program, and then I'm going to say return 0, and then we're going to close the brackets. So here we have declared the age, and we have assigned the value 10 to it, and we have printing it using the printf statement. So now the %d tells printf to expect an integer, and then since age is an integer variable, it gets printed over here. So quickly, let's revise. So variables stores data. So let's write down recap. So we're going to write as variables stores data, and then we can also say we declare the type and name. And then we can assign a value to it. So we will write can assign value later or during declaration. You can say that it can be used in program logic. And output. So that's a quick introduction to variables in C. Let's keep writing more programs to learn better. That's it for this video. Keep learning, keep exploring.